Welcome to my walkthrough/guide for the second fight of the Pandaemonium Savage tier, the second circle. In this fight, we are fighting the Hippocampus, and it is a rather interesting fight. It was rather fun to learn and progress through, and there are a lot of mechanics that require a decent bit of coordination and exact positioning. Um, all of this playthrough and guide is done via first day or second day prog, which means a lot of it isn't optimized for melee range or complete uptime. This is mostly just to get through the first clear in these early fights before strats are devised that are better for uptime sakes. So with that in mind, let's go straight into the fight, where we are going to start out going into a murky depths, which is going to be a raid wide. This is going to happen a lot during this. It is a moderate amount of damage and requires a basic amount of shielding and healing. After that, we are going to get into a double impact here, which is a stacking tank buster. There is no switching required for this, so you can just cooldowns and you only need one tank. There's no second auto attacks or anything like that. After that, we're going into Sewage Deluge. Unlike in normal mode, one of these platforms is going to be made unavailable. As you can see right here, let me try to back it up here. Yeah, as you can see right here, one of these is going to be marked with a red thing showing that this is no longer to be accessible. If you walk on this one, your character will be insta-killed. If you walk on either one of these yellow glowing ones, you will get a debuff that will do heavy dot damage. It can be healed through, but it is a pain. So the Sewage Deluge is going to be the first set of mechanics, and most of the heavy amount of mechanics are going to be done during the settings of Sewage Deluge, where it limits the stage. The first is going to be Cataract. Now, Cataract has two different forms. In normal mode, it had the one form where it did a line from the body and then a square or rectangle from the front. Here, there are two different forms called Winged and Spoken. Winged is going to come from the back, and then Spoken is going to come from the front. Here, it's going to be Winged. I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. We see it's winged. We determine that this is a safe plot where we're at. It's going to unleash the line, and it's going to unleash the back AoE as well, and then it is resolved. The next mechanic is going to be Coherence. Coherence is going to be a kind of a mixture of a party mechanic and a tank mechanic. There is going to be a tether from the boss. One of the tanks is going to need to tank that tether and go to the other side of the map. Coherence is going to release a proximity AoE, so he needs to drag it as far away as possible and use some cooldowns. After that goes off, there is going to be a line AoE for party stacking, and the other tank needs to be in front. It's going to be a tank buster from that. So there goes the flare, I guess you could call it, and then there goes the party stack. If the tank is not in front, who's ever in front will die, because it is a tank buster. After that, we're going to go into another Murky Depths, which is just another raid wide. And then after Murky Depths, we are going to go into... Let me go to the cast bar so you all can see it. We're going to Ominous Bubbling. Ominous Bubbling is going to be the cast for the actual stacking. And then Shockwave, which you're going to see here in a second, is going to be a knockback. He's going to look at one of the platforms, and wherever he's looking, he is going to jump to and cause a knockback. You can completely save your anti-knockbacks here. You can use them here because you're only going to need them during this bubbling effect, and they're spaced out enough that you're able to just keep it constantly active. So you're going to use your anti-knockbacks, separate into light parties, and then he's going to do the knockback, and then the light party drops were going to happen. And just like that, it's going to resolve. As you saw, it did a moderate amount of damage. We recommend a small amount or a moderate amount of shielding. After that is going to be, we're going to go into Predatory Avarice. Predatory Avarice is going to apply two different debuffs. It's going to apply one debuff to two people and then another debuff to another person. It can be one tank and one DPS, and then the other one is going to be on a random healer. What these two are You can see this one looks like a human. This is called the Mark of the Tides, and this teardrop is called the Mark of the Depth. What this does is when it expires, it's going to release an AoE. The Mark of the Depth, the one that looks like a person, is going to release an AoE that needs to be taken single target, and if anybody else is in it, they're going to get thrown out. They're going to get heavy pushbacked. And then the teardrop is a party stack. So how you're going to accomplish this is you're going to get the debuffs. He is then going to do a cataract. This one is spoken. He's going to, as you can see, the arrow is right here. So the AoE is going to go that way, and the body is this way. So this right here is safe. We're going to group up here. We're going to wait for it to go off. Scarlet is going ahead and pre-moving because he's allowed to. But how we do it is tanks go to the right, DPS go to the left, and then it should be resolved by itself. There we go. I move out. Scarlet's out as well. You can see him over there. And then the party set goes, and the R2 AoEs go as well. And right there, I know it's a little pixely, but right there you can kind of see the radius of it, which will come in handy in a later mechanic. All right, and with that, it ends the first Sewage Deluge set of mechanics, where we're going into a mechanic called Channeling Flow. It is super simple, and the base mechanic of this is going to come back later, but in this form, it's super simple. What you're going to do is you're just going to go, you see this arrow pointing this way, that's going to send you flying in that direction when this cooldown ends. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to line up somebody with the opposite side pointing towards you, and you're going to want to collide with them. If you don't collide with anybody, you're going to get sent out of the map. And if you collide, say, with them, if I move right over here and collide with them, it will probably kill both of us. So here you go. It's going to stun us briefly. Plan your GCDs according to that. It's going to shove us, and then all is resolved. I don't actually know if hitting him on the side would kill him. I know it would kill me because I wouldn't be colliding anybody, so I just want to mention that. After that, we're going to have another double impact, which is a tank buster. And then after that, very shortly after that, is going to be a murky depths, which is another raid wide. Sewage Deluge is going to be the very next mechanic. You have some time to heal it and shield for this, and then he's going to jump in the center and start casting Sewage Deluge. This does a moderate amount of damage and does require a bit of shielding. If there is no shielding at all, it will definitely kill. All right, so this is going to start the next chain of mechanics. These ones are going... The first mechanic is going to be... people have called it Limit Cut, and it looks terrifying at start, but it's actually super simple to solve, and we're going to show you how to do it here. So he's going to start casting Shockwave, which is the knockback. What you want to do is, over here is the no-no square. You want to position yourself opposite of that. That way you have room to run around. And what's going to happen here is he's going to jump and then give everybody a number between 1 and 4, and either a 1 and 4 triangle or a 1 and 4 square. All right, I'm going to let the numbers show up, and then I'm going to talk about it. Okay. So it applies 1 through 4 as a square, and then 1 through 4 as a triangle. What you're going to do is 1 and 3 go far. I'll explain what that means in a second, don't worry. And then 2 and 4 stay. Those are for the blue ones. The purple ones, the triangles, are just going to go to the respective numbers right here. Now, what this means by far and stuff. So you're going to see, and this is always going to be the case. It's not going to be, I can't say for the letters to precise, but in terms of just positioning is, if this one is, he's always going to jump where you can have close and far. So that means like how, for this example, this is blocked off squares and this is safe square. You can just look and you can tell that he is going to jump to one of these ones. Now I'm going to let this mechanic play out just so you can see it happen, and then I will talk about it a little bit more. All right, we notice that it is, I'm 4, so I'm staying. I'm going to go over to his hitbox, and I'm going to go to the very back corner here because I am the last, number 4. And then I'm going to move forward. All right. And that's the resolve mechanic. Now, what everything just happened. So, the triangles, purple, the head is going to jump to in the 1, 2, 3, 4 order and release a circle AoE. The squares, or the blue, he's going to dash between. So it is proximity based. I just mentioned that right now. So what he's going to do is at the very start of the mechanic, he is going to finish capping. It's called Campius Harma. He will also be immune during this, so plan your 120s will be coming up right as it's about finished casting. So plan your 120s around it after it, because your pots will also be up after it. So after it finishes casting, he is going to dash to 1. That is why you want 1 on the other side. That way it gives enough room for proximity. And then he's going to dash to 2. The head is going to jump to 2. He's then going to dash to 3. The head's going to jump to 3. And then he's going to dash to 4. Now, the AoE, or the dash stops right where you're at. So in order to avoid these giant circle AoEs from the head, what we're doing is the ones that are not going to be hit next stay in the very back of the marker, and the ones that are going to be hit, move to the front. Once they're hit, they swap places, and then once the 4th one is hit, everything's resolved, and you can target the boss again and continue. After that mechanic, we're going to get another double impact, which is a tank buster. And then after that tank buster, we're going to get a murky depths, which is raid wide. And then after that, we're going into channeling overflow. It is slightly different than channeling flow. I'm going to go ahead and get us over to the mechanic real quickly. It's going to work kind of the same, where it gives you an arrow that sends you flying, but it's going to be staggered. There are going to be 4 people with a 12-second debuff, and then 4 others with a 30-second debuff. What you're going to want to do is you're going to get into position. The short ones are going to want to get into position where they can slide and resolve the mechanic. I'm going to get into place and then show you. Okay. So you can see my partner over there. We're going to slide into each other and collide. The long cooldowns are getting an AoE that we're going to have to make sure we avoid. The way to avoid them is as you can see, there are a lot of safe places to go. The 2 most common are going to be you go to this poop water side here, and just one person stands really close, one person stands roughly about here, and then over there as well. You can also stand at the very front corner of this platform, and then you can also stand at the very front part of this gate. So there are plenty of safe spaces for that to happen. After that, your cooldown's going to go, or your debuff's going to go off. You're going to get sent flying. They're going to hit with their AoE. And then it's going to happen, but in the reverse order. So the long cooldowns are going to go, and we're going to get the AoE. So make sure you get into position for that. It's going to give the AoEs. Make sure you're not overlapping anybody. And then it resolves. Make sure you collide with your partner if you have the long cooldowns. And then, boom. Mechanic is resolved. Easy peasy. After that, he's going to do a cataract. This is winged cataract. And then after that, that's going to resolve this set of sewage deluge mechanics. After this, we're going to get some DPS time before going into the next set of mechanics, where we are going to start the Disassociation mechanics. He is going to cast Predatory avarice, which is the debuffs from earlier, the one with the stacking and the 2 AoEs to not go near anybody. They're going to be applied, and then he's going to cast Disassociation, which is going to cause his head to fly to a certain stage of the arena. We're going to see which side he goes on. That means he is going to leave this side of the arena, which means we're going to pre-move over to 2, because he's about to do a cataract, which will determine our safe place. He's doing spoken, so the AoEs are going to come from here and here, which means this little corner right here is safe. The teardrops are going to go up here like this. The Like I said, it's tank right, DPS left. So the DPS in this situation is going to go down to the corner because this is unsafe, and the tank is going to go right because they've got to spread that AoE. And as you see, that resolves like that. That resolves. The head flies through the arena, and the cataract is done, and it is all resolved. After that, we're going to get another disassociation, and we're going to go into sewage eruption. So you're going to see which side of the arena he's going to fly on. He is flying on this side of the arena. So you're going to head to 1. It's always going to be... every pull while progging this, it's always been either 1 or 3. So I'm not saying it's always going to be that, but from my experience of progging this, that's how it's always been. We're going to head over to 1 here. He's going to start casting Sewage Eruption. Sewage Eruption drops 3 sets of AoEs on all of the party members. So what we're doing here is we're baiting the AoEs by setting in 1. We're going to let him cast. He's going to drop the AoEs. We're going to move to the edge of the AoEs. It's going to drop the second set. Do it again. And then after the third one, that's it. And then you're going to, each party member is going to get this AoE marker where you just kind of spread out wherever you wish. After that is going to be another Coherence. That is the tether plus party stack. And then after that, it is going to wrap up this set of mechanics, and we're going to go into the another double impact and murky depths combo for going into the last set of mechanics. So there's the murky depths, there's that, and then he's going into sewage deluge again. And then you're going to check to see where the no-no area is. Once you find the no-no area, you're going to head to the opposite of it. That way you just always have enough room to move. He's going to start casting channeling overflow again. Now, just like last channeling overflow, it's going to work somewhat the exact same. It's not going to have those AoEs like this time. That's why I'm going ahead and pre-positioning here, because you're going to want your party to stack up here in this one that's far from the poopy square. So I'm pre-positioning in case I get the long cooldown version of the channel overflow. I get the short cooldown, so I'm going to go ahead and move into position here to do my slide. The long cooldowns are going to position in that place I showed you, which is just the very corner. I recommend before the cooldowns go up to step back slightly, and that's because Coherence casting, and you got to make sure that the tank is able to grab the tether. The tank's going to grab the tether. He's going to go over to the poopy square. The first sets of overflow is going to happen. And then immediately you need to run over here to get for the party stack. It does a lot of damage. On top of with the sliding, do a lot of damage. And then the flare and the party stack, we found it's best or the easiest to just tank LB this, which you can see happening right now. It just makes it easier to mitigate everything because you don't really need to mitigate everything. But you're going to, the tank's going to go over here. All the DPS is going to come over here, line up for that. It's going to release that party stack. And then the long cooldowns are going to get into position for this. Those are going to resolve. And then that is going to finish that chain of mechanics. But this is still going into Sewage Deluge. The next we're going to get is Dissociation, which means one of these sides are going to be unsafe. And we can see it casting right there, so that means he's going to cleave this side of the arena. And then he's going to start casting Sewage Eruption. So we're going to stack up on 3 here. Once Sewage Eruption goes, we're going to bait the circles, just like last time, bait them all around, and then we're going to end right here, and then that is done for that. After that, he's going to cast Ominous Bubbling, that is the light party stacks, and then he is going to do Shockwave, so use your anti-knockback, get into position, and the mechanic will resolve itself. After that, we are going into what I consider the soft enrage mechanics. Technically, it's just the repeat of the stuff. After this, technically, is the true soft enrage, but I consider this part of it. He's going to, speaking of which, it's going to be the tank stacking, the double impact. After that, he's going to cast Murky Depths, and this is the actual real soft enrage where he's going to do Murky Depths. He's going to do Murky Depths again, and then he's going to do the enrage cast, which is Sewage Deluge, which I will show you right here. And then, there you go. That is the entire fight. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope that you were able to learn everything and use it to your well-being to pass the fight successfully. If you wish to see me do this live, we are going into 11S. Oh my god. 3S next to do some progs, and you can check that over at twitch.tv/Monochwome, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.